Hello there, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Hail to the Chin podcast, the podcast that runs alongside the amazing Ash vs. Evil Dead TV show. Joined with my two hosts as usual, Sam and Steve. Say hello, guys.
Hello.
Right.
Hey, guys.
We have got episode 4 ready to blast off. Brujo.
You said it right this week.
Yes, I did. I'm getting better at the whole Hispanic or Mexican type thing. I've probably got that wrong.
It's just the J is a...
It's like Crichton from Red Dwarf. But anyway, so far the series has been going fucking phenomenal. This episode, however, was just even better than everything in my opinion. But we'll get to that in a moment. Are we all ready to go, or do we want to mention anything at all, guys?
Yeah.
Oh, go on, Stephen.
Yeah, just first off, obviously, I just want to give a shout out actually to some people on Twitter that we've been speaking to over the last few weeks. Fantastic, great chats with them. Evil Dead News, Michael P. Shipley, Deadites Online. We've just been cracking wires about Ash versus Evil Dead. Everyone's loving it, and obviously a massive shout out, definitely, to the folks over at Ash versus Evil Dead. Sort of main Twitter, and obviously Ray and Dana for just being so cool and interactive with the fans. I've not really seen this kind of interaction with fans.
It's really good, isn't it? And it's very open, and they're not just sort of stock replies either. Each of them are really personally replying to people. It's really good to see.
Exactly, you hit the nail on the head. It's amazing interaction with the fans. I absolutely love it. And obviously a shout out to Groovy Bruce, not that he needs it, but you know, he's why we watch it.
Yeah. Sam, did you have something as well? Sorry, Steve, cutting you short there.
No, that was it really. Just because the Evil Dead community online has come together to support the show. 90% of the Evil Dead community is supporting the show. There are some nitpickers, but we'll get into that later. But yeah, I'm just loving the interactivity with the cast and the crew, and Rob Tappert for like even retweeting fans kind of comments. It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, what I wanted to say, obviously, you said, you know, shout out to Dana and Ray. I mean, obviously, thanks to them for coming on our show as well. You know, we really, you know, there's some cool interviews we've got there on the channel. Also, we recorded another few this week. Not only are we sort of covering, as I've said before, not only are we covering Ash vs. Evil Dead, we're sort of covering the whole Evil Dead universe. And we recorded a handful of interviews with, I mean, who did we have? We had Betsy Baker. Yeah, well, Betsy Baker, who was Linda in the original Evil Dead. Danny Hicks, who played Jake, yeah. And
Jake the scumbag.
And Sarah Berry, who played, was it Annie Noble?
Annie Noby.
Yeah, that was all of them. Brilliant episodes. I still couldn't get how much she still sounded like Annie from the second movie. It was crazy.
Yeah. Crazy. It's been great. It's amazing to be able to reach out and just talk to not just the cast and the crew, but the fans, and just to feel that kind of global sort of like community for. And to really appreciate how much of a cult phenomenon Evil Dead actually is, that it's not just a handful of guys, you know, over where we are. It's all over the place. There are pockets of fans that it's
and it's like as they've already said, it was very fan driven. If it wasn't for the fans, it wouldn't have happened. And it looks like you've already pointed out, Steve, as well. Dana, Ray. Bruce, Tapper, they're all reaching out to the fans because they deserve, and Bruce himself as well. They all deserve the recognition, you know. And I think everyone in the Ash vs. Evil Dead team is basically thanking them for it, for the way the interaction's going. They knew the fans wanted it. The fans have been egging it for years, and quite rightly, and they're literally, if anything, reaping their thanks on the fans themselves.
Well, I mean, I think it's fantastic because, to be honest, not only are the Ash vs. Evil Dead sort of like Twitter team interacting with fans, they get it. They get what Ash means to people, and they get what the Evil Dead sort of like universe, or you could say multiverse, depending on how you see the whole reboot, remake, reimagining, you know, which we'll deal with as well at some point. But yeah. They get it, and it's really sort of like a breath of fresh air to have sort of like some social media contact with representatives from a show that aren't just punching in 9 to 5. I'll send out some robotic kind of style tweets.
Yeah. Like I said, like stock replies. It doesn't look like that.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, and obviously them interviews are just the beginning. You know, we've got plenty more coming out.
Hell yeah.
And lined up in the next few weeks, so keep an eye out for them. Obviously on the YouTube and the iTunes.
But nevertheless, guys, should we get to this?
Let's do this.
We've got it on Stars. Stars Original
follow us
Presents.
on Hail to the Chin on Twitter.
Oh yeah, Hail to number 2 the Chin on Twitter. That's Hail to number 2 the Chin. And if you type in just Hail to the Chin podcast or Hail to the Chin on YouTube, look for channels and you'll see us right away. But anyway, let's get on with it. Stars Originals Presents. Are we ready to go?
Yeah, do you want me to count you in?
Yeah, as usual, Sam.
3, 2, 1, play.
Play. Stars Originals Presents. And boom. Oh, brilliant artwork.
Well, it is. It's still one of the best things that I love most about the show is that artwork. And it's quite sad, really, that it's sort of like I can be so attached to some random artwork, but it's not. It's just beautifully done.
It is. It's nice as well. The little recaps, they've captured everything. That is still one of the best Deadites we've seen.
Brujo?
They just can't leave that chainsaw or dive out either.
Well, it goes perfectly back to Army of Darkness, where he jumps up and catches the chainsaw on his hand. Because that was a badass moment. That was like just from that one scene, you knew what kind of film you were watching. It was just going to be. It's almost like it's almost like fan fiction, but made by the original director.
Yeah. He even looks great as a Deadite too. The bookshop keeper, like, really looks awful, you know.
I thought he was going to be like a cool sort of secondary callback character, but they've just
clearly not. Yeah.
Evil Dead doesn't do cool secondary callback characters. It's pretty much you're in it. You're dead. You're worm food.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm totally in love with Lucy Lawless.
Chainsaw banter.
I'll tell you what, Lucy Lawless to me. You look at badasses in like the movie and television world. You've got two, in my opinion, that look and can get away with being a badass instantly. That's Sigourney Weaver, and it demonstrated there, Lucy Lawless. She just kicks ass, man.
And Linda Hamilton from Terminator.
Oh, yeah. Oh, of course. Linda Hamilton.
And Michelle Rodriguez from Fast and Furious.
I don't know. She just typically looks like a rough and tumble sort of girl, whereas Sigourney and Lucy don't, you know.
A rough and tumble girl.
Hey, zing.
Well, mine rough and tumbling.
Now, did anyone at this point, did it sort of occur to anybody, like with Kelly, like vomiting out of the car, did it occur just saying ain't right with her? Like, she's of some importance in this, like a bit more than just a sidekick.
Well, yeah, because we're not as dumb as Ash. Because as you point out, every time the lights flicker, Ash is still like, what's going on? What's going on?
It's like in the upcoming scene with the radio in there. Yeah.
It's like a deerhead starts laughing. It's like,
oh, wow.
Something's not right here. It's like, Ash, come on, behave. But what I like, actually, is because obviously we were talking about Elagos the other day and about how it's a raw Deadite out of a meat suit.
Yeah.
You know, hasn't possessed anyone. And I know I get in trouble for using the term meat suit because I'm obviously jacking that from another TV show. But, you know, I watched that show as well. And obviously the portal that I was saying that if you hit it with a book, maybe the way the flames kind of like died down in the mouth was like Elagos has been sucked back into hell.
Yeah, maybe, but
what we're going to get from this is obviously that the book's mouth is the mouth to hell. And it wasn't necessarily sucking anything back. It was just merely closing.
Yeah. Like just a temporary shut almost.
Yeah. The Hellmouth is closing. Oh, sorry, that's stolen from another TV show, the Hellmouth. That's a Buffy reference there.
What I like about this scene as well is this the first time we ever see the Force.
Oh yeah, it is, isn't it?
I know. Thank you for bringing that up. And I didn't know how I would feel about seeing the Force for the first time. But
you've seen it before in Lost on the island, the Force.
But it's simple enough though, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm allowed to bring up Buffy. Do not bring up Lost.
I only said that because I knew how much it would get on your.
Don't lower the tone.
It just looks so good, doesn't it?
It makes sense because the Force it's something you can't see, but because it travels with a force, it's going to pick up a ton of debris.
Yeah.
So it is almost like a tornado. A tornado, you wouldn't see a tornado unless it had all that water vapor and all the sort of cows, Dorothy, and the Wicked Witch going through it, would you?
Oh, does come across vicious, doesn't it?
Hey, I managed to get a Wizard of Oz reference in there.
Amazing.
Oz the Great and Powerful, Sam Raimi.
The bloody nitrous as well. What the fuck? What a pathetic attribution to put in your car. It's like, that just goes to show still, Ash just does not have anything good to spend his like value stock cash check on at all, does he? Nitrous in his own damn car.
Yeah, but I love this because this is literally exactly what you would expect from if Bruce Campbell was in a Fast and Furious film
as well. The quote, brilliant.
He drives a banger. He's absolutely useless, but we love him, and he is the greatest hero of all time.
Yeah,
which is weird because if you think about it, as I said probably before, Evil Dead is the only horror franchise where the main character is actually a protagonist.
Yeah, almost.
Every other horror franchise, the main character that everyone loves is actually the bad guy. They're the serial killer. No, I love this coming up.
It just literally woof.
Because again, it builds to that mythos and that lore of like, you know, the balance between good and evil, our world and their world. But when Ash says, was it 12 more payments?
Yeah, on my car and it's mine.
And the car's paid for. Now, that's really clever screenwriting.
Yeah.
Because one, Ash is the kind of character who is useless enough to actually still be paying off a beat-up car.
30 years ago.
It's a 40-year-old car, isn't it, really?
Oh, yeah. To me, this is believable that he'd still be paying that car off, but also ambiguously allows them wriggle room to suggest that when he came back from the 1300s after Army of Darkness, he bought the same car again.
Yeah. Sorry, finish, Steve. Go on.
It just allows them to have, like I say, that ambiguity where if they don't get the rights to Army of Darkness, no harm, no foul. If they do get the rights, no harm, no foul. Do you get what I mean? It will weave in seamlessly because they're being very clever about how they refer to certain things.
Yeah. Now, you mentioning Army of Darkness as a reference, or at least they're sort of hinting slightly, and we then can look back at what the lore the TV show is adding to. But this particular scene, even with like Lucy Lawless, like between the two of them, like something happens in a moment where I was just like completely didn't expect it, completely didn't, I don't know, really think about it ever happening. But another addition to the lore is when obviously she pulls out the trunk. We'll see it in a moment, but that just adds so much more again to the lore and the story, to which we know where the story came from and what timeline we are sticking to.
Yeah, and automatically you can see the fan service, but also not just the attention that's gone into satisfying the fans, but you already know you can envision Lucy Lawless as character's sort of storyline, her past, just by that nod that's coming up.
Yeah.
And obviously, I know sort of like Sam Raimi has said that the show, the Army of Darkness is canon to the show.
Yeah.
However, they still do have to skirt around it and for the time being.
Yeah.
Because just because Sam Raimi says that Army of Darkness is canon doesn't mean they can make direct references yet.
No, of course. Has anybody guessed who this guy reminds me of?
Denzel from Only Fools and Horses.
No.
You shut up with Denzel, Jesus.
He reminds me of Rob Schneider from Bedtime Stories.
Rob Schneider?
Yeah, you know, you've never seen the scene where Adam Sandler's looking at the red Ferrari, and he's like, "Are you saying this can be mine?" And he's, you know, when he's trying to be like the mystical Indian-like guy.
Dean,
come off it.
Did you just bring Rob Schneider
And ask anyone to have a callback to bedtime stories. 7 years after it came out.
Just the way he talks, it reminds me of the mystical guy that Rob Schneider played in Bedtime Stories. That's all.
Rob Schneider is a blah 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 blah.
Rob Schneider is a bro.
The stapler.
The stapler.
Right, okay. Officially, you're let off now, Sam, for bringing up Lost because he brought up Rob Schneider. Dean's now on the shit list.
I like as well how concerned Ash is at this point, but still how cocky he tries to be. He's so insecure. It's
just what he's like, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I love it. Like he's still not, all this funny stuff happening with Kelly, and he's just still doesn't get any the least bit suspicious or
concerned.
Yeah.
He's just too concerned about himself half the time. That's the problem. But that's why we love the character, though.
Can I just express and say how brilliantly acted that's this whole scene from Dana is? Like, I think it's not corny, it's not cheesy or anything. She generally looks petrified for the fact that she doesn't know whether she believes much of what's going on anyway. Look, she's still concerned. She still doesn't think it's right. And she's not even open about explaining what she's just felt like to Ash Ray or Ray's uncle.
But again, that goes back to the quality of the writing, because you've got a show that it's fun, entertaining, but it's also scary. It's meta. It's doing fan service, and you normally will see that in in an episode of something. You'll have some funny bits, some scary bits, but you've got one scene there where you've got some funny stuff going on, but at the exact same time, the exact same scene, you've got something really creepy,
some serious drama going on. Yeah. Just sitting in Brujo's drug den almost.
It's his Shaman's Centre.
Ah, yes, Shaman Centre. I like it. I prefer that.
Was it, or is it Cashel Centre?
Cashel.
I know. Wait, that's the toilet paper, isn't it? I hope I don't get done for that joke.
I love how just Ash is still making dinner there, muchacho. He's still just so ignorant, such an arsehole, but yeah, we just love him.
But going back as well to there's been some sort of like negative stuff on Twitter about this episode. A lot of people saying about it's too dumb. What? It's too much like Army of Darkness. I saw a comment on YouTube that replied to a review of the actual first episode. This was on some other guy's YouTube.
Right.
And they were saying how the show is a real letdown and it's an absolute load of rubbish because it doesn't recapture the visceral experience of the original like the 2013 remake, reboot, reimagining did. But I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I don't remember the original Evil Dead being a purely visceral horror experience. It is darkly warped humor as well.
Yeah.
And also, it's a franchise that's grown, expanded, and transcended from being a horror.
Yeah, it's gone from horror to comedy. Now, what franchise has successfully done that and succeeded at it massively? And 30 years on is now a television franchise. Yeah,
the balance between horror and comedy. And I just couldn't understand the experience because the comment, because they were saying that likening the first Evil Dead to the remake. And I was like, but I just didn't understand. I just don't think they understood just the whole Evil Dead thing in general.
Yeah.
I
agree. Yeah.
Even though they reckon they'd seen the first film when they were 5 years old and saw Army of Darkness at the cinema.
Now this is the scene I was talking about earlier. How it's adding more to the lore of what universe of Evil Dead we're coming from. The fact that Army of Darkness isn't existing. That no one expected this. No one expected Ash's hand whatsoever.
Well, I did, because in the first episode, El Jefe, when there was that crawling sound, I was like, oh my God, will it be the hand? Will it be the hand?
Oh no, but I don't think anyone was expecting Lucy to pull that out personally.
No, definitely.
But what a great addition still. Like, what more lore to it. The fact that she's been back to the cabin and she's managed to capture the hand. So cool.
Well, I mean, the hand was the co-star to the second film. Do you know what I mean? It was Ash, the hand, then Danny Hicks.
I I love him just saying, look, I had 3 bagels for breakfast. Maybe it's been all soaked up.
It's just so weird though as well, because Ash has seen everything and yet he's still such a skeptic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's unleashed sort of like the Deadites. He's been through everything. He's gone back in time, apparently to the medieval times, and yet he still can't believe that someone would do it,
And he's being skeptic over a drink that could free his mind. Not to mention that there's trans-dimensional demons trying to attack him, but
exactly, yes.
Yeah. An acid trip won't help me at all because I'm Ash. Oh, that's so cool! Just him tripping out. Even the comments he makes.
This reminds me of this is straight out of Harold and Kumar, or Jump Street when they're tripping balls.
The eyeball though in the mouth is pure drag me to hell.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Without doubt. But Sam Raimi loves that. The whole eyeball thing is freaky as shit.
Why do you have an eyeball in your mouth? Don't bite it.
You think back to Army of Darkness, the first thing when the little mini Ash is when that one mini Ash goes inside him, the first thing to appear is the eyeball in his shoulder.
Yeah.
I love this just random montage of just TV clips. It's just
70s
his world, isn't it? He just spent his childhood growing up watching TV, then obviously all the porn,
and then Playboy,
and then to the cabin. It's genius writing because it charts out what Ash has been doing for the last. Well, most of his life, basically.
Well, it explains why he's the way he is, just sat in front of the TV.
Yeah,
and I love the white snake.
The montage again, talking about lore. The montage of him clearly he just skipped the country. He skipped states because he couldn't handle what happened. And it's just so good.
He's just been on the run and
hit the beer, hit the drugs. He's hit the women. He's got nothing he can deal with. It's so good and so clever, like you were saying, Steve. It's just brilliant writing.
I think because I almost pissed my pants when I first saw the montage of him going around to all the value stops, because it was obviously Indiana Jones, you get a montage like that, don't you, when he's traveling across countries?
Yeah.
But this is Ash we're talking about. He's going around value stops.
And the only place he can work is where he just keeps working. He can't move into anything else.
And obviously being a fan of Kevin Smith as well, it hits that Clerks kind of note for me as well, so...
I got excited seeing this scene for the first time. I was like, oh shit, they're going back to the cabin.
Oh yeah, see, I thought that as well, being in the forest and stuff. I really thought he was going to sort of trace his steps back to where it all began.
Well, that's what he's doing, isn't he? He's tracing it back. But this is actually generally creepy. This is like some Slender Man shit.
It's like Silent Hill style Ash.
There's been a lot of Army of Darkness style referencing in this particular episode. For instance, even now with the whole dirt being thrown on Ash's face and him spitting and spluttering. The eyeball again.
Just because they don't have the rights to directly reference property and have scenes doesn't mean they can't,
pay homage.
Homages.
Homage.
This bit coming up here, the Ash vs Evil Dead Twitter ran a competition to caption this. When you see,
Steve, I was meant to comment. Yeah.
When next time you sort of face evil, what do you do? And the line in this is it's coming up. It's like, I take my chainsaw and shove it down for throat. Yeah, they'll be shitting out. But I replied, I'll take my boomstick and shove it so far down their throat they'll be shitting lead for a month.
And it was so close.
It's so close, and I was just like, oh my god, I could have written that.
It's your trip, Ash. Yeah, it's my trip. So, and even the look, Harry just peers up top is so Harold and Kumar. Even the green screen of looking out over the bay on that little dock. Sweet shithouse mamas.
Sorry, I'm getting a bit excited here every now and again but this is what this episode is. It is such a fanboy episode.
Jacksonville. Again, more lore. The fact that he mentions he was meant to go to Jacksonville with Linda, but instead they went to the cabin and it changed everything.
Yeah. I'll pull you up on one thing, not you personally, but obviously in El Jefe, he says, some friends and I went to a cabin.
Yeah.
And then this one, it's more just him and Linda to the cabin.
Yeah.
Now,
I love the fact as well. Sorry, I just want to jump in that.
Yeah.
The first thing he thinks about when he's got 2 hands is like, now I need 2 beers.
Yeah. Again, another Army of Darkness reference. Pablo building a hand.
when I saw this as well, when he pulled out the box of video games, and she's like, "We're not going to play video games." Like, no, I'm going to build Ash a hand. He pulls out basically a
Nintendo.
A non-copyrighted Power Glove.
Yeah.
And that's when I went straight on Photoshop, and I was like, bang, 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 Power Glove. It's bad, so bad.
I do think this little piece of chemistry between Ray and Dana here, or Kelly or Pablo, was an absolutely fantastic scene. Both brilliant acting from each other, in my opinion. Really, really good.
That's because you love Dana.
Let's be honest. Evil Dana is fucking hot. I like Rachel's probably going to listen to this, my wife, but as a TV character, I was a bit like, fucking hell.
It's the thing with like doing things like this though. Like when I say to the wife, like, "Oh, she's like, oh," and I'm just like, "Oh," I sit there and say, "I'm not. It's not like I'm ever going to get to meet her or talk to her." And then I'm like, "Oh, wait." Then again,
funny
these people that I do fancy, I do end up meeting and talking to.
Funny you say that. My wife Rachel, she was like, "Oh," she'd listened to the Pablo interview, and she was like, "It was really, really good." And she's asked like 3 times when the Dana interview was going to be up, and I was like,
when I edit out all the incriminating things.
Yeah, editing out the licking sound of the microphone.
I just want to get back to how great their acting is at the moment. With Dana all being all sort of sultry and sort of vicious, and even looking in the mirror and the Deadite. So good. Such a good Deadite. Again,
that's going back to the whole sort of like, taking on, possessing a body, taking on, a vessel. Deadites. That's Elegos, the Deadite, and takes on now, and now he looks like Dana. Elegos, yeah.
Now here from Pablo as well. He's like trying not to flirt, but at the same time being like, "Hello, Kelly." Such a brilliant scene between them both. Pablo's first look up and down her just to make sure, is that her?
See, another thing that's all like people have been saying about is the 30-minute runtime. Because obviously it's such an intense, fast-paced kind of, episode. Each episode is very fast-paced. And most 45-minute shows have that sort of like 3-act structure per show, but also that links into an overarching storyline for the entire season. Whereas obviously Ash vs. Evil Dead, it doesn't have any of those monsters of the week kind of episodes, like, and the drag out episodes. Is literally like a 3-hour Evil Dead film, just like dismembered, cut up into individual sort of like parts. But I think if people accept that, I think they'll enjoy it a lot more.
Yeah.
Well, especially this episode, this is a cliffhanger, is it? It's not like a finished story, is it? It just continues.
Yeah.
God. Ash just looks he looks so cool, but it was like Eli sitting on his little beer box as well. 2 beers in hand.
I just love it.
Dragon.
It's quite sad as well thinking about it, because you think like, oh, all he ever wanted was just a simple life,
Yeah.
Grab a beer and look at the bay, and he can't even have that.
And to be able to talk to Eli.
Yeah.
No, actually, do you know what, Sam? I actually really didn't think of it like that, but that is actually really, really sort of amazing
good in-depth look. Yeah,
that's a really great point. That his dream is Jacksonville. It's not something. No offense to anyone residents of Jacksonville right now, but it's nothing out of this world, is it? It's just he wants just a very normal life, couple of beers, nice little city, nice life.
I think, do you reckon we're going to get an episode that's sort of like a real in-depth to looking at him and seeing, that he is lonely and he's suffering, because he is all laughing and joking, but obviously that's just, a cover for probably what he's actually feeling inside.
Yeah.
Well, wasn't Elegos his, like, the total nerd demon's attributes? He preys on the emotionally weak.
That's it, yeah.
And Ash is emotionally weak. He's just he's got a lot of bravado. It's a lot of it is like a false kind of shell, isn't it?
Even that. Surrender, Ash.
Back in the cabin.
Yeah. This is a really, really disturbing little scene, this.
Reminds me a little bit of that film Mama. Have you ever seen that?
No, I haven't, but I can understand where you're coming from.
But the creepy, weird thing in the cabin.
But again,
90% of horror films.
Yeah.
But
a great flip from something really funny, really cool for fans to horror.
Yeah. Go on, Eli.
We've keep coming. I fucking love Eli, man.
Eli's quality.
Eli for a spin-off show, mate.
Yes.
It reminds me of like Man with a Screaming Brain.
And now look, like you've just said, you've been going to like very serious dramatized scenes to horror, and now to an Army of Darkness quirky stupidity with his head in the test tubes. It's like three major factors.
90s special effects in the world.
Yeah, but three major sort of genres in literally the space of what, a minute?
Almost in the same scene.
Yeah, practically the same scene. Value stop.
But I love that when the jars are breaking, it's like, you know, I'm not a clerk anymore, you know, so I'm not going to clean that up. Like, he's always got something. He's always got a line to come back with. Can you imagine him and Randall being in the same movie? Jesus
God, no
Christ.
shit would get done. No shit would get done. I was just about to comment then, the little Evil Dead 2 reference there. Plant pot on the head. Eli giving him a bit of a gang talk. What was it? Well, bit of a chat to spruce him up.
Sprucing the Brucey.
That's it. Intimidating the Deadite. Isn't it funny as well how the little toy looks a little like Linda?
Yeah.
The eye obsession again.
Yeah.
I do like the doll and the whole sort of like doll face quote is brilliant. Because obviously Sam Raimi put the China doll, didn't he, in the Oz the Great and Powerful.
Yeah. I do like as well how stars allow the script writing to be very free in the sense of the insults that Ash throws around. It's nice to actually hear him say fuck, shit, and this, that, the other. You know? Good acting from Bruce as well with him strangling Dana.
Stumbling and bumbling and that.
Yeah.
It's like his best Frankenstein kind of zombie impression.
Yeah. Pablo saves the day.
Sorry. His best Frankenstein's monster / creation impression. Just before anyone jumps on, they go, no, Frankenstein was the scientist.
Dana loves Pablo.
I thought she loved Judy.
She does. You telling me she doesn't? Dem eyes, though. I hate cliffhangers.
Do you know what the trouble is?
Just consider it a commercial break.
Yes.
Yeah, because you get into it so much that suddenly that ending comes out of nowhere. Because it doesn't have that kind of, like I was saying, that structure where, oh, you know, this is the ending. It's just suddenly, boom, and you're like, oh my God, because you're so engrossed in it.
Yeah. No, I didn't even for once during when I first watched it. At any point did I not sit there and move to find out what the time was, like how much time was left. But then it was because I was so engrossed in it. A 30-minute episode, it didn't faze me, even if I knew that it was 30 minutes. It was just for the fact that it just cut just there and then. I was just like, oh, come on.
I personally would rather them each season, especially season 2 with obviously Ted Raimi.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I would rather them just make 10 episodes, just go out and film a 3.5 hour Evil Dead basic epic, and then just slice it up and show it, rather than try and do 24 episodes a season, try and make every episode part of the story arc overall, but also a self-contained story, because that's just not what Ash and Eve, like the versus Evil Dead, should be, really. You know, it's unique to its own thing. You don't want it to be another kind of Walking Dead. You know, if you want something like that, you've got Supernatural. So I'm just loving every second of this show.
I can't even begin to start. If you was to sit there and say pros and cons, I couldn't even mention anything negative, in my opinion. Like you were saying as well, Steve, how people have even sparked on this particular episode that there were bits here and there that they didn't like. That, every single episode so far, I've not once sat there and just been like, that one was better, this one weren't so good. Every single one of them has been brilliant, in my opinion. Everything about them has stood out and has been absolutely fantastic.
The only episode that was like a sort of like slight dip was obviously Bait, but that was because, as we said, it had to just quickly tie off the loose ends of El Jefe and transition into Books and Beyond. But if Bait's the low point, fuck me, that's like saying an A star that is a low point in your academic career.
Yeah, I'm just so happy that every episode seems to add more to the backstory of the stuff that we don't know. Like, for instance, in Books from Beyond, the fact that we could see how the Necronomicon was being made. And then in this particular episode, we were really getting to know where Lucy Lawless's character was coming from, the fact she'd been back to the cabin, and then the hand still has some sort of some sort of importance for the fact of her saying for 30 years it hasn't done anything, and now it's just suddenly started moving. It's just, everything just adds up so well.
There's some things we brought up in the interviews with some like the Evil Dead / Evil Dead 2 people. Obviously, I don't want to say them here because obviously we haven't released them yet. But watching this episode is sort of, made me think that they are possible.
No, absolutely, yeah.
There's going to be more and more throwbacks, that we don't know about.
I really, really hope, because we've already we've already heard from Ray and Dana interviews that there is a possible idea of, we're just waiting for it, essentially, the time travel side of things. I'm really, really hoping that there is a scene, even if it's for the nostalgic and the drama, and even just to see maybe a different Ash, or maybe an emotional scene from Bruce himself to go back to the cabin to where it all began, either him revisiting it or going back in time to when it all started. It'd be nice to just see what Ash would do.
What I was thinking about was an alternate universe. Not an alternate universe. What's that Supernatural episode, Steve? Is it the Jinx or something? Where
the Jinx?
I can't remember. Where basically Dean gets stung by it or something, and in his head he's living the alternate universe where he's married and got a kid or whatever.
Oh no, yeah, that's the Jinn.
Jinn, that's the one. Yeah, sort of like a similar situation in this, and that could be where I was saying before. Addresses Ash's, like the life that he wants. All he wants is to live a normal life, not even a normal life, because sitting on a porch on a lake, just looking out at the lake, drinking a beer is not really much to ask at all, is it? Anyone can do it. And
basically, you mean the ending of My Name Is Bruce?
Yeah,
yeah.
Where it's that 1950s style happy ending, Leave It to Beaver shit.
Steve, what would you? Oh, sorry, Sam.
Yeah, no, and that's what I'm saying. I reckon that is a possibility. Probably not in this season, but in season 2. Like an alternate universe Ash. He's not working in S-Mart. He's got a good job, or he's got someone he loves. He's probably married to Linda or someone. And all his friends are still alive.
That's the thing I would actually really like, after they've done enough seasons to make it make sense for Ash to be able to go back to that night as an older Ash and stop the evil in the cabin before he gets there or something. Yeah. And then fade away with a massive tear rolling down our eyes as he fades away, but he gets to be the normal guy that he always should be.
It could be quite emotional as well. We're obviously thinking of stuff. What could, like Sam said, what could possibly be done in maybe season 2? But the way I could
season 6.
Oh, sorry.
Season 6.
Yeah. Sorry, but
I'm gonna milk this for everything.
The TV movie that wraps it up.
Yeah,
exactly. But six seasons in a movie.
It would be interesting, maybe, if it came to a point where Ash got the opportunity, or maybe everything's sort of hunky-dory in the end. He gets the opportunity to either go back to where it all began that day, instead of going instead of going to the cabin in Michigan to actually go into Jacksonville, would he be happy with that, not knowing what that future holds, or would he be happy with the fact he's got two friends in Pablo and Kelly, or even what happens even in this sort of story? Does he get the chance to go back, sort things out, and live the happy life that he wanted, the simple life that Sam said isn't exactly much to ask for? Or if everything ends up hunky-dory in this timeline, would he be happy for the fact that he's just met two people and maybe rediscovered himself? It would be fucking interesting.
It depends how the characters or like storylines for like sort of Pablo and Kelly pan out, because I could quite easily see a situation much like the Quantum Leap finale where Sam Beckett chooses his final, well, not his final leap, but the final leap we see. He goes back in time to tell Al's wife that Al is still alive and wait for him. And then, so he sacrificed his chance to be happy and go home for his friend. So I could see that Ash is the most self-obsessed character of all time, making something like that at the very end of his journey.
Like a huge decision.
A decision that he's happy to like to fade away or deal with it because he realizes the improvements he's made to other people's lives.
That's the better way to describe what I was saying. Yeah, whether he would be happy with that.
Yeah, so suddenly the character kind of becomes good. Like not becomes good, but you know what I'm saying.
Sam, so you got anything else more to add, matey?
No, not really. We should be doing something really cool this coming Monday, but we'll report on that once done. Very Ash vs Evil Dead related. In the flesh as well.
Oh yes, and of course the fact that we've got the interviews that we're ready to drop here and there within the Evil Dead universe.
Yep, Betsy Baker,
Danny Hicks.
Yep, and Sarah Berry. And we've obviously got more in that are confirmed and in the pipeline. So just keep them coming. And we're going to still working on other materials for the YouTube channel. I think, Steve, you've got access now to like all your old Evil Dead gear.
Yeah, I've got all my DVD collection, my VHS collection and stuff. Obviously, I made a interesting video, which was obviously Ash's Road So Far. That is kind of like a musical montage that looks at how Ash went from the cabin back to the cabin, back in time to where he is now. Yeah, so check that on YouTube. That's Hail to the Chin on YouTube. Just search for it. You'll see our channel. And subscribe. The more you subscribe, the more you like, the more you get.
Yeah, exactly. As well, follow us on Twitter at Hail2. That's the number 2. Hail2 the Chin. As simple as that. I feel like I have to repeat it though, because someone else has Hail to the Chin, and it kind of annoys me.
You're gonna be on your deathbed going, "That's 2, the number 2,
number 2, asshole."
We're on Facebook as well. Just search Hail to the Chin with the normal 2, TO to the Chin. And Steve, we've got a Tumblr as well, which you're keeping quite active.
Yeah, it's Tumblr as well, which is Hail to the Chin, believe it or not. But and you can go on Blogger as well, to Blogspot, and look up hailtothechin.blogspot.com.
Yeah.
We're everywhere.
This is probably as much advertisement as we can possibly do now. I guess that was a fantastic, I guess it was a fantastic episode of the podcast, let alone the TV show.
Well, I was going to say it's a fantastic episode of Ash vs Evil Dead, and I'm really sorry for ruining it for you by listening to us while you watch it.
Yeah, it's always there to watch without us, but we do encourage you to watch it with us.
Yeah.
So, until next time, everybody. Any last words, guys?
When evil shows up, it blows up.